terrific team. And people are saying, well, the Dream Team now couldn't touch that team. But you know me, I have to look into stuff a little bit. I was like, man, that is a really nice group of players. But the big three that I think Andy Gresh kept talking about were Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird. He said you have Bird, Magic, and Jordan all on the same team. That's as good as it's going to get. Well, when I got to looking, because I started thinking, I said, well, that was 92. Do you remember Bird's hair in 92? It was when he had shaped it up into the old guy hair.
Yeah.
Listen, Larry Bird's last season was 92. All right, his very last year. You remember he only played 45 games that year. You remember how bad his back was hurting towards the end of his career?
He was hurting.
He was not. Yeah, he was not the Larry Bird that we all know and love for those Olympics. I mean, he wasn't. He was hurt. His back. Elwood, I know you remember. Elwood's a huge fan of Larry Bird, who's from French Lick, Indiana. I know you remember the end of Larry Bird's career, and as much as we love him, as much as we respect him, Elwood, don't get mad. You have to admit, at the end of his career, he was not the same player. His back was hurting him so bad, and you can tell just by watching the games.
Yeah, understandably so.
Yeah. So you can. It's not like Larry Bird was out there in his prime, so you'd knock him down a peg or two on that list of that the big three that nobody could ever hang with, because Larry Bird. Give me Michael Jordan in his prime and an older beat down Larry Bird versus Kobe and LeBron in their prime right now. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what I mean? And then tack in Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson actually retired the year before. He was diagnosed with HIV 91, retired, comes back and plays in the 92 Olympics after he's been retired. All right, so Magic Johnson wasn't even in the game. And, granted, he had a few good years left. He kind of retired with a few good years left, but his career was on a decline. And after being away from the game for a little while, coming back and playing in the Olympics, he wasn't the player that he was in his prime with the Showtime Lakers.
Right.
So that knocked him down a few pegs, too. So your big three are not essentially, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird, because those two guys, they were out of basketball or on their way out. I mean, they're in the end of their careers.
So you're taking it as the team was formed in 92, not like the caliber of players.
Exactly. Look at the actual 92 team. Yes, they stomped the competition into oblivion. I mean, it wasn't even close. They killed everyone. However, if you remember, Michael Jordan totally dominated the Olympics. And then stories came out afterwards of him being up all night playing poker, smoking cigars, and going on like an hour and a half of sleep and scoring 35 points the next day. That team had Michael Jordan, is what it had.
Yeah.
The best player to ever play the game. And nobody in the NBA had an answer for Michael Jordan, let alone anyone in the world. Yeah, nobody international basketball. So we give a lot of credit to the big three of the Dream Team, but you can basically give the credit to Michael Jordan and other guys like Barkley, who was still kind of in his prime, Pippen. Patrick Ewing still had 10 years of basketball left after that. I mean, he didn't retire until 2001. He was playing, in his prime. Isaiah Thomas. Christian Laettner? Christian Laettner was on the original Dream Team?
Was he?
They had to take one college player, and they took Christian Laettner. And they could have taken Shaq, because he came out of college that year. They took Christian Laettner instead. I don't think he did any real playing, but anyhow, fun fact about the original Dream Team, maybe not a lot of people know.
I did not remember that.
But the cast of characters this year, the guys playing this year, I absolutely love. I absolutely love. The guys, they're all young guys, okay, with the exception of Jason Kidd, who I think he can still run. I don't think he's going to be made to look old in the Olympics whatsoever. But it's not even him. They have Darren Williams. They have Chris Paul. Two guys that are easily two of the best point guards in the entire world. I'd be willing to bet my life on it. All right, they have LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, Carlos Boozer, Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, Michael Ray. I mean, they got Tayshaun Prince, who I think is one of the best defenders in the league and doesn't get the credit he deserves for it. He's got such a wingspan; he can shut anybody down. I love this team. I love this dream team. I am guaranteeing gold medal.
Again, not on a limb. Just say.
I'm throwing it out there. Gold medal.
I don't think you're stretching too far.
I don't think I am either. I don't think anybody in the world can beat these guys. If anything, they needed one more big guy in there. Right? They also have for big guys is Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, Carlos Boozer. And Bosh and Boozer are power forwards. Right? Bosh can play both. He's a center / power forward, but Boozer is a power forward.
Can Wade switch?
Wade's a 2-guard. He's like 6'4".
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they don't have any big guys. They don't have any height. What they needed to do was get Tim Duncan. I don't know why Tim Duncan's not on this team. One more big guy would have been huge. They only have literally 3 guys that can play down low. But it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. I don't think down low, I don't think anybody can hang with Dwight Howard in the world. I don't think anybody can. Now, he does have a broken sternum that he sustained, in the playoffs this year, yeah. But they're saying he should be back in action, no problem, in time for training camp. Let alone just for the games. He'll be back in time for training camp for